Episode 65. Was Tupac Shakur's death staged? The evidence examined. Welcome back to the Conspiracy Theory Analyst. I'm Robin. September 7th, 1996. Las Vegas. A white BMW 750 sedan pulls up beside a black BMW carrying Tupac Shakur and Death Row Records founder Suge Knight. Someone in the back seat fires multiple rounds. Tupac is hit 4 times. He survives for 6 days in hospital. On September 13th, he dies. He was 25 years old. He had released 4 studio albums. He had starred in films. He had become, in a very short time, one of the most significant cultural voices in America, and one of the most documented, imitated, and debated figures in the history of popular music. His murder was never officially solved, and for nearly 30 years, a significant portion of his fan base has believed that it wasn't a murder at all, that Tupac Shakur is alive, that the whole thing was staged, that somewhere Cuba, New Mexico, or simply somewhere far from the spotlight, he is still breathing. Tonight we examine why and what the evidence actually shows. Detailed explanation: the shooting took place after a Mike Tyson boxing match at the MGM Grand. Earlier that evening, Tupac had been involved in a physical altercation in the casino lobby with Orlando Anderson, a member of the Southside Crips. Moments after leaving the arena on the Las Vegas Strip, the white Cadillac pulled alongside the car and the shots were fired. Tupac was taken to University Medical Center in Las Vegas, where he underwent surgery. For 6 days, there was hope he might survive. On the morning of September 13th, he died from respiratory failure and cardiac arrest caused by his wounds. The official records are unambiguous. An autopsy was conducted. A death certificate was issued. Eyewitness accounts from people present at the hospital, including his mother Afeni Shakur, confirmed his death. Suge Knight, who was also in the car and was grazed by a bullet fragment, survived. Orlando Anderson was the primary suspect in the shooting. He denied involvement and was himself killed in an unrelated shooting in 1998 before he could ever be charged or tried. The case remained officially unsolved for nearly 3 decades until 2023, when Dwayne Keith Davis, also known as Keith D., Anderson's uncle, was indicted for the murder. He was charged in September 2023, and the case, long cold, entered the legal system. Despite all of this, the autopsy, the death certificate, the arrest 3 decades later of the alleged organizer of the shooting, the belief that Tupac survived persists with remarkable tenacity. Core elements of the conspiracy: the first element is the Machiavelli connection. In the months before his death, Tupac released an album under the alias Machiavelli, a reference to Niccolò Machiavelli, the Italian philosopher and strategist who had written about faking one's death to fool enemies. Tupac had read Machiavelli extensively and openly admired him. For believers, adopting this specific alias was a coded signal, a message that a staged death was being planned. The second element is the speed of the cremation. Suge Knight has claimed he spent $3 million on Tupac's cremation, which reportedly took place the day after his death. The rapidity of the cremation, before any public funeral, struck many as unusual. The individual who allegedly conducted the cremation reportedly disappeared afterward and has never been found. The third element is the numerology. Believers point to the number 7 appearing repeatedly around the circumstances of Tupac's death. He was shot on September 7th, survived 7 days. His final album was titled The 7-Day Theory. Tupac himself appears to have been interested in numerology. Whether these patterns are meaningful or coincidental is in the eye of the beholder. The fourth element is the volume of posthumous material. After his death, an extraordinary quantity of unreleased music emerged. Tupac released more albums after his death than before it, eventually accumulating 11 platinum certifications. Believers argue this volume of material is inconsistent with what could have been recorded before his death at 25. And suggest it was produced after he went into hiding. The fifth element is the alleged sightings. Reports of Tupac appearing in Cuba, where his aunt Assata Shakur has lived in political exile for decades, have circulated for years. A 2024 claim suggested he had been photographed alongside another musician. Each claim has been investigated and found to be either misidentification, manipulation, or AI-generated fabrication. Evidence for and against the evidence for Tupac's death is comprehensive and official. An autopsy was performed. A death certificate was issued. Medical staff at University Medical Center treated and pronounced him dead. His mother was present at the hospital. The legal system, 30 years later, produced an indictment naming specific individuals for his murder. No credible person with direct knowledge has ever come forward to say the death was staged. The evidence for the conspiracy is almost entirely interpretive. The Machiavelli name is real, but Tupac used numerous aliases and was a literary and historical enthusiast whose choice of name may reflect admiration rather than planning. The volume of posthumous music reflects a prolific recording schedule and the industry practice of holding material for future release, not evidence of continued production. The alleged sightings have universally failed to hold up under examination. What is genuinely unresolved is not whether Tupac died, but why his murder took so long to be prosecuted, and what the full network of events, motivations, and power dynamics around his death actually looked like. The questions around death row records, Suge Knight, and the wider East Coast-West Coast rap conflict of the mid-1990s have not been fully answered in any public forum. Arguments in favor believers argue that Tupac was intelligent enough and wealthy enough to have arranged a disappearance, and that his adoption of the Machiavelli persona, specifically an alias named after a man famous for writing about faking death, is too specific to be coincidental. They point to the speed of cremation, the missing crematory worker, and the discrepancies in official documentation as evidence of a cover story being constructed hastily. They also note that Tupac, in interviews, had spoken openly about feeling hunted, about anticipating his own death, and about wanting to escape. They argue the desire to disappear was real and documented in his own words. Arguments against skeptics point out that the conspiracy requires an implausibly large number of people to have maintained a lie for nearly 30 years, including his mother, who died in 2016 having never wavered from the account that her son was dead. They note that the 2023 arrest of Dwayne Keith Davis is inconsistent with a staged death narrative. It would mean the American justice system spent decades investigating and ultimately indicted someone for a murder that never happened. They also note that the numerology argument proves nothing. Patterns of 7 can be found in any sequence of events if you look for them, and the human brain is exceptionally good at finding them. Public opinion and broader impact Tupac's legacy has only grown since his death. His music has been streamed billions of times. He appeared as a hologram at Coachella in 2012. He was posthumously inducted into the Rock and Roll Hall of Fame. A biopic has been produced. His influence on hip-hop, fashion, politics, and popular culture is pervasive and ongoing. The survival theory reflects the scale of that impact. The world is not done with Tupac Shakur. In some ways, neither is he done with the world. Conclusion: was Tupac Shakur's death staged? The official record is unambiguous. He died on September 13, 1996, from gunshot wounds. An autopsy was conducted. A death certificate was issued. His mother confirmed his death. The alleged organizer of the shooting was indicted in 2023. For believers, the Machiavelli alias, the numerology, the posthumous music volume, and the sightings are enough to keep the question open. For skeptics, the official record, the medical documentation, and the 30-year legal investigation tell a complete story. What is certain is this: Tupac died too young. His music outlasted him by decades, and the conversation around his death shows no sign of ending. This is the Conspiracy Theory Analyst. I'm Robin. If tonight's episode made you think, please rate and follow on Spotify. Tomorrow on the Conspiracy Theory Analyst, the missing scientists, UFOs, classified research, and suspicious deaths. That's next.